Thank you everyone for joining us today. My name is Mari and I'm on the team at Anthology or Blackboard. I have the pleasure of working with the WVU ITS team and supporting them in their use of Blackboard, working towards goals and just making sure you're getting the most out of the tool. Right now, a big goal we're working on is supporting you in modernizing your courses to Ultra before the fall semester. So my colleague Mike and I are here today and really excited to talk with you about that. We do have the chat is disabled, but we have the Q&A enabled. So please, throughout this session, ask us questions. The ITS team and myself will be responding to questions in the chat. I'm sure I will interject with Mike as well to ask him some throughout. So please let's make this engaging and valuable to you. And without further ado, I will pass it over to my colleague Mike, who will be leading today's session.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Mike Jester. I'm actually beaming in from just outside Philadelphia today. Looks like there's already a question in the chat. Questions can go here. Awesome. Question answered. Okay, so what I want to share today is first give you some excitement as to why we're happy that WVU is moving to Ultra and what Ultra offers kind of overall. And then I'm going to go into a demo of looking at the interface, kind of showing original a very little bit, and then showing how it relates to the Ultra content and how you can reuse and rebuild your content that's in original and pull it into the Ultra interface and make it accessible, dynamic, and user-friendly for both yourself and for your students. So let me see if I can get my slide presentation up here. I'm going to hit share, and then when I have that open, sometimes I don't like how Zoom kind of crowds up my screen here. There we go, play from start. All right, so we should be seeing a little mobile phone on the screen. Is that correct?
Looks great.
Okay, so let me just move forward here. So here's just review some of the benefits that you'll be able to take advantage of as you move to Blackboard Ultra. This comes with your license. There's no additional subscription necessary. This is all integrated into your LMS when you're using the Blackboard Ultra interface. First, we have market-leading AI tools, and I'll demonstrate how those really support instructional design and give you a lot of time-saving features to reuse the content information you already have, to generate questions for tests, to generate rubrics for your assignments or discussions, to have ideas generated for your discussions and assignments, and even to generate modules. So structure your course so you can build a preliminary scaffold in Ultra and then add your content later. Um, as you're seeing, because we're showcasing a mobile phone, we're the only LMS within, for Ultra that's built mobile first. So everything is coded to fit onto your mobile phone. You no longer have to worry about the content that you create in Ultra as create in your classroom as whether or not it fits on a mobile phone or what it'll look like on the mobile phone. We've taken care of that, and I'll show you real quick, easily, just kind of by shrinking the screen as to what the course would look like on a mobile phone or a tablet. Not only that, because it's built mobile first, it's screen agnostic, and the interface, if you're using your browser or you're using the what's it called, the app. If you're using the app, then both experiences will be the same. Rich and interactive content creation, accessible by design. So our product manager, actually for the director for developing Ultra, was the product director and creator of our accessibility tool, Ally. And so a lot of the accessibility features are already built into Ultra. So you don't have to worry as much about accessibility because the course provides a level of accessibility already in everything you generate. And there's a lot of hints and tips along the way to support you to make sure that anyone will be able to access your content. We offer efficient grading through a flexible grading interface, so you can grade how you want. So, for example, you can grade all your papers one by one, or if you have an essay test, you can grade all, question number one, so you can see how all those questions stack up with all your across your students and move on to the next question. So, a lot much more flexibility to determine how you want to grade the tests that you're grading. And of course, we've integrated a lot of actionable insights, both for students, but I'll really be showing a lot of the fun interfaces that show insights for instructors. So you know what your students are interacting with the content, where they're interacting, if they've gotten lost, if they've gotten stuck, who needs help, and how to reach out to them and support them if they do. So we have a lot of really interesting accessibility and insight tools built into Ultra, and they're just a click away or built right into the interface itself. Okay. When we talk about accessibility, just by moving to Ultra, we found that the Ally score for courses increases 20%. And that's often because of formatting and contrast issues that weren't enforceable in original and they're enforceable in Ultra. And it'll even show when you move over content from your original course to Ultra, if it had some accessibility issues, Ultra will filter those out, and you'll even get a little report saying that, hey, there's been some format changes because of accessibility. So review your content to make sure it shows the way you want it to. All right. Accessible content creation, when you're creating content within the interface, it's going to be more accessible than what you were creating in original. And native video accessibility. So anytime you're creating a video in Ultra where you can create videos, which will be for announcements or when you're providing feedback, there is auto captions for that video that students will be able to access, as well as a transcript that they can download. And if there's any issues with the transcript as you see it, if you're using very technical terms, sometimes for maybe chemistry or biology, and the tool that does auto captioning may not be able to capture something like what is DNA, ribonucleic acid. It may not capture that that lengthy technical word. You'll be able to update the transcript if you need to. And they included caption abilities, capabilities. Oh, sorry, included inclusion capabilities with the accessibility as well. One of the things you'll see as students get into your course is that we have an 87% student satisfaction rating with students that have moved into Ultra. And you can see some of the comments that are on the screen. I won't read them word for word, but you'll see that the first thing they notice is how more user-friendly it is, how much, I know it's one of the most anxiety-inducing things when you're walking into a course and you know there's due dates due and you have your money or your loans on the line, and you're new to college, you're a first generation student, you're a second language speaker, or this is going to be a difficult course, is just kind of wayfinding around the course and knowing what's due when and what you have to do. And so that the fact that the interface itself can calm nervous students down and feel that they know what they're doing next and how to reach out to the instructor for support, that's why the satisfaction rating is so high. Um, and those that even experienced the switch, if they had an original course and then moved on to Ultra, they notice it's easier navigability and feel ready to interact. The kind of the industry standards in terms of mobile design and the latest user interface research and understanding has been integrated into Ultra. And so that's why the last one of the quotes, like it seems to have grown up. Um, Blackboard original looked, it really looks kind of 2010, 2011, when it was kind of in its heyday and the what you could do on a computer screen. But since with phones and tablets, just the variety of screens we use have changed so much. We've grown up with Ultra, and we've provided this mobile face interface that students appreciate and faculty enjoy as well. Our interface continues to win awards. This is one from 2024. Awards, it's nice to just to share them, just to understand that we are being recognized within the industry outside our own sort of horns that we blow here, that we're getting that recognition. And then one of the reasons we're getting that recognition is we are the fastest evolving LMS in all those years, 2022, 2023, 2024, and this year as well. And this is just the last 7 months, how we've outpaced our competition in the number of features added. And these aren't just features released for sort of color and uh, little bells and whistles that make things look pretty but don't actually have an impact on learning and uses in the course. We have a very transparent and user-friendly interface, the Our Idea Exchange, which is a site that you're eligible to sign up for as a faculty at a school that uses Blackboard. And you can use Lava and your resources on campus, or you can submit ideas directly to our Blackboard development team. The developers monitor that space, every day, every week. And you can provide comments, vote on other ideas, interact with our developer team and other faculty or folks that are on that interface to present ideas and refine ideas so that what we release of these 159 releases are ideas that have been generated by our users, have been vetted by our users, have been tested by our users, and have been asked for by our users. And so that's why we feel that Ultra is really the destination for schools to go, and then you're going to really find it easier and useful and enjoy the experience overall. All right, let me pull out of this presentation there, and let me start showcasing a course. But let me just pause for a moment while I do that and ask if there are any questions.
So far, so good. The ITS team has been answering all the questions in the chat. Main
Great.
thing to make sure we cover is just how to pull content from a previous course into Ultra, which I'm sure you'll cover.
Yeah, yeah. And I see we have kind of a smaller group today. Are there has anyone here already seen Ultra at all? Will you be seeing Ultra for the first time today? I see one thumbs up floating up. I love the the feature. All right. Has anybody taught in Ultra at all yet? Okay. All right. Well, let's see. And you can feel free to come on the microphone. There's not a whole bunch of us to really um, drown each other out. So let's see. Let me share my next screen here. Oh, let me clean up my screen so that I'm showing what I want to show and nothing else. One moment here. There it is. Let's.
If you get a chance, can you also later in the demonstration show how to change due dates and release? I think you do release
Oh,
editions, but due dates as well.
yeah, yeah. I love to show that. There's some really easy features so you can do that in bulk. Let me just make sure that everything is hidden on my screen so I'm not showing a bunch of stuff here. Okay, I think I got it right. Okay, let me share this screen here. Go ahead, hit share. And nope, that's not what I wanted to show. Here we go. All right. So everybody's seeing what looks like an original course. Is that correct? Thumbs up. I can't see anybody. You'll have to say it verbally. I just want to make sure I'm sharing the right screen.
Yes. Yep, you are sharing the right screen.
I was once recording a demonstration on Zoom and there was nobody there. I was just recording it for a school and I was recording the wrong screen for like 40 minutes. So I'm sensitive to Zoom and clicking the wrong button and confidently moving forward without any idea of what's going on. So here is an original course. This is an Introduction to Biology course. I actually attempted to add a banner image and it broke. It wasn't working here. So I want to show you how easy it is to add a banner image in Ultra. But you'll see you have a menu here that's very customizable by faculty to sort of add what they want and where they want it. Sometimes this is locked down by institution or recommended by department. But the challenge with this is that a lot of times students walk into a class and they're really not sure how their course is organized uh, because it can be organized so differently from instructor to instructor, right? So they're not really sure metaphorically kind of where they sit in the classroom and what direction they need to point their desks. They're looking at what they need to look at and understand what happens next in their course. But you can see here I have some syllabus content and I have some content items that review the syllabus here. I have some course content with an office hours link and a couple folders here. And then I have like meeting links. All right. And so that's the course I have in biology. And one thing that's kind of difficult or different about Ultra is as you kind of move from link to link, when you go into Unit 1 process of science, you kind of have to uh, pull back here on this kind of breadcrumb trail to kind of find the course content again. And it may be difficult for students to kind of know where they have to go next and what they have to do next. Because when they finish macromolecules, they're not really quite sure what happens next in the course per se. Okay, so let's close this. And I'm going to show you a blank Ultra course. So this is a blank Ultra course, a demo shell. Now, ta-da, this doesn't look quite impressive at the moment because it's completely empty. But let me just review kind of where content goes and how this interface is just structured in general, and look at some of the buttons and the graphic icons that are in the course that are consistent throughout the course. One thing about original is it's kind of accreted functionality over time as different products were bought and integrated into it. And so there wasn't a very consistent design language or iconography. And we've tried to really clean that up in Ultra so that when you feel stuck, there's some areas where you can get to right away. Okay. So what you'll see, this is where your course content area will be. All right. What will go in here as you, and I'm assuming you're seeing my mouse circle this one area. This course content area, this is where, let me just pull out of here real quick and go into that biology course. Okay. These links here will become the main folders and or modules in your original course, in your Ultra course. So if I just pull out here and go into here, I'll show how when you pull content in, the content that's student facing will appear right here. All right. And we're going to go over how to pull that content in and then manage that content so that students can see it and that you've managed all the due dates that you need to have accordingly. All right. Now, across the top, you have a menu: content, calendar, announcements, discussions, gradebook, messages, analytics, groups, achievements. Now, students see a very similar menu across the top based on what you've enabled in your course. So if we can just show a student preview, this is what a student sees in your course. There's no content, it's on the way. But this is their view. Of course, they don't see achievements because we haven't added achievements to this course, and they don't see analytics. Those analytics are faculty facing, but they will see their groups if they're being managed, and they will see their calendar, announcements, discussions, and obviously their gradebook and messages. Okay. One comment I get right away is announcements. I want students to see my announcements right away. And in Ultra, you've hidden them on a tab. Well, not so fast. I'll demonstrate what announcements do in a moment throughout the course. Okay. Um, Let me exit my student preview. I'm going to discard the record. So when I go in again, it's like going in for the first time. Okay. Now, we reviewed this menu across the top. You also have a details and action menu along the right side of your course. Okay. Now, I have class Collaborate integrated here. This is a third-party vendor. We used to own Collaborate, but it was sold a few years back. But this is where your institution might have integrated a different solution. Maybe Zoom is integrated here or Microsoft Teams. Or it might be in the books and tools area. Books and tools is your third-party vendor solutions that will be added here. I don't have a very robust list because we don't pay for subscriptions within this demo environment, but this is where you can access your publisher content, Microsoft Teams, etc. So that's where a lot of in your original course, you have this menu on this left side and you have your course management tools. A lot of those have been integrated in here. Okay. In terms of some of the design iconography, I want you to pay attention to this three-dot menu. As we add content, you'll see there'll be a three-dot menu alongside each content. This is the menu for the area that you're in, okay? So this is the menu for the course content page and things you can bring in here. You can review unused files, course tasks and logs. You can export the course package. You can import a course package. You can copy items from here as well. And I'll show the batch edit features once we have some content in here that we can edit. There's also a magnifying glass. This magnifying glass is also in the student preview. This is a search item. So as you're pulling content in or as you're managing your courses, maybe you forgot where you put your assignment or your discussion. This will search the title of any content, right? So the title of the assignment, the title of the discussion, and any description that you've added on the description box for that content area. So you can search for that content to kind of see where it is. Maybe it's within a secondary folder within a module, so you can't see it. So you want to search for it here. And students have access to this as well, so they can search content in their course. All right. So remember, this three-dot menu is really important. This is also called an ellipsis, the three dots if you're an English teacher. So my little tip is, one of my best tips is to click on the ellipsis because you'll see an ellipsis here as well. So this menu will govern this tool that's integrated into your details and actions item here. Okay. At the top, you see a cogwheel or a gear. Okay. You'll see this cogwheel or gear within your assignments, within your gradebook, within your discussions, and these are the settings menu for those items. So here you see your course settings. One feature I want to really emphasize here is you want to make sure your progress tracking is turned on. Now, maybe it's turned on by default at West Virginia University, but if it's not turned on by default, I really recommend that it is, and I certainly recommend you go into your course settings and turn on progress tracking. I'll demonstrate what this looks like when there's content in here. We can play with kind of a fake student, but this will show you what your students have done, where they've done it, and when they've done it. But it also allows students to see what they've done and where they are in the course as well. So it not only tracks students' progress, but it allows students to track their progress as well throughout the course. And within, any website, kind of remembering where you are and what you've clicked to and how to get around, that wayfinding and orientation is so important. And we've really integrated a lot of fun tools into Ultras to allow you to do that. The last thing I want to emphasize before we get into pulling in content here on this page is in every page you go into, calendar, announcements, um, uh, discussions, you'll see that there is this little question in this bubble here down at the bottom. Okay. Now, if you click on that, now it may be what is it called? Integrated differently into your system based on how what West Virginia University has their help pages integrated. But this is a smart help tool link. So if I click on that Blackboard help link, it'll take me to the help page for creating content. Okay. If I were in the gradebook and I clicked on that question mark, it'll take me to the help page for the Ultra gradebook. So when you're trying to figure out, I want to close those things real quick. When you're trying to kind of figure things out on yourself and you're stuck and it may be 8 o'clock in the evening and there's nobody to call, there's a lot of self-support on that question mark bubble for Blackboard support. And it'll take you to the page as the instructor. Students have this link as well, then it'll take them to the help page for the student view. Okay. All right. So what I'd like to do first is this is just titled a demo shell, but I'm going to change the title here because this is going to be Biology 101. Okay. Now, a confession, I'm not a biologist and I never taught biology. I took biology a couple times, but I am using content that was sort of shared. So if there's any biology teachers on the call, I apologize if anything looks wrong or fishy or incorrect. But this is really just to show the course content stuff, not the accuracy of the content itself. Okay. So when I want to add content, I look down here and I have two options when the course is empty. I can add content or I can auto-generate modules. We'll play with the auto-generate feature. This is an AI design tool in a moment. But right now, we've moved to Ultra. I've been teaching at Blackboard for years. I have content. Why can't I use that content? So let me add content and I'm going to go to copy content. And right away, I have a list of courses that you can see here. Okay, and it tells me on this right page what items I have selected. And it gives me a little warning that any copied LTIs may require reconfiguration or relinking. And I haven't selected any items yet. All right, this top course is my demo shell. I can't copy my demo course into my demo course. But if I had content in here, I would be able to copy some content in there, which is kind of a neat tool if you kind of set up a module structure and you want to repeat that structure. You can just copy that same module and then populate content into it. So let me look for my original course in biology. I could look through this list and I have I can, search the next page here, but I also have this fun search bar here. So let me just search biology, right? And I know because I've titled it this way for my own demonstration that this is an original course, all right? So I can copy the entire course and pull everything in, right? And it's just like the movers have moved all the boxes into your new area, and then you can unbox them one by, then you can unbox them and put things in their place as you need to. But I could also, if I uncheck this and go into the course, I can go into all the areas where I can pull content. Now, right off the bat, I don't know if you remembered it because I briefly showed it, but the syllabus folder, the course content folder, and the meeting links, these were the top three folders in order in my course area in the original course, right? So if I go to my courses and go to my original biology course that doesn't have a banner there, see syllabus, course content, and meeting links. So those main content areas here that I can pull from when I'm in the course copy of a process of my demo shell. So I'm in my demo shell, I'm adding content, I select copy content, all right? I search for my biology course. All right, this is the course that I want. All right, so instead of pulling all that content in, maybe it's a little easier to sort of organize things area by area. So I can look at what was in the syllabus folder. So I have this Introductory to Biology syllabus. Okay. Now, because of the way content shows in Ultra, I don't really need that top layer folder that just tells me there's one item in that folder, right? I did in original because I had to click on the link to get to the syllabus. That link is the main sort of folder in my Ultra course. So let me just click on the document itself and bring the document over. And then I get a little shopping cart here that tells me I've selected my biology syllabus. Okay, let's go back to this breadcrumb trail to the content area. I can look at the course content. All right. So maybe I don't need to have a content folder that has all those units in there. Maybe I just want to bring those units over like this. Okay. And I'm going to just bring over one unit. So I'm looking at things kind of piece by piece, but I do want to bring this attend office hours link over. See how that goes. All right. Now, I don't have to just stay in this course. This shopping item doesn't need to be constrained to the one course I'm looking at. So if I have resources in another course that I find useful or helpful, so say I've been teaching a course in English composition here. Sure, it's a stretch to be teaching English composition and biology, but I'm a polymath, so I can do it. So I can look at my English composition course and I can see that I have rubrics to choose from. I can also bring over some of my grade schemas. I can bring over some of my settings. So maybe I want to bring over the banner image from that course, right? I could look at my announcements and say, oh, I really structured announcements well in this course. So I can bring over, maybe one of these announcements. Maybe there's a nice discussion where it was, hey, tell us a little bit about yourself. Maybe just an introductory discussion. I want to bring that over. So here's my little shopping cart, and I can bring those items over, and I'm going to hit Start Copy. You're going to get this little rotating thinking circle here. A friend called it the dancing ants. I kind of like that. So we have here the content that was brought over. I have my attendance hours link. I have the discussion I wanted to bring over, and I have Unit 1, and I have my syllabus. All right. There are also some exceptions with my copy. Whenever you're bringing over things from original, there will be an exception review list that we want to notify you about to let you know, hey, some items may have not come over the way you want them to come over. They need to be reviewed, or they came over okay. We just want to let you, we've changed a few things with formatting. Okay. So here we go. Here's my exception report. I can see what's going on here. The assignments and tests, there were 3 exceptions, so I can look at that. Some settings may have changed as I brought over the quiz. All right, well, I should be looking at my settings anyway, so that's not a really big deal. Unsupported test options have been removed. All right, well, I'll have to look at my quiz to make sure those questions came over the way I want. And some assignment options have been removed. Now, some of the assignment options in Ultra were redundant, right? And they can be accomplished in different ways or from new settings we have in Ultra. So this doesn't exactly mean I don't have that option available to me anymore. It's just that it's changed in Ultra. Okay. My best strategy here is to write some of these down in terms of like which ones do I really need to focus on, and then, take them one by one as you organize your content and review your content. Okay. Maybe for the content items, the folder description was shortened or lost formatting. Okay. Files that you add as attachments are grouped together in alphabetical order at the end of the content. So it just kind of tells me some information about how things have moved around. Okay. When I close out of here, the exception report warning is missing. So, oh my gosh, where were those exceptions? I really wanted to check those things, but I forgot what items didn't come over. Three-dot menu, one of my best tips is to check on the ellipsis. And there's the copy details, and there's the exception report. Okay, once again, just to review that content, when you bring anything over from original, there may be some items that have changed or been modified, and we have to tell you about that. They're nothing really scary. But again, if once you look at them, if you want to look at them again, there are the copy details here, and it's in that ellipsis. One of my best tips is to click on that and then check that again. Okay, so content has come over. It's really not in the order that I like, but that's okay. In Ultra, you are always in edit mode. You notice there's not a setting up here that you click to sort of turn yourself into edit mode, right? So everything is already in edit mode, and anything you bring over is hidden from students automatically, so that anything that is shown to students is shown when you want it shown and not before it's ready. Okay? I know it's hidden from students because it's labeled as such in every content area. When I open the accordion folder here to reveal the content within Unit 1, everything is also hidden. If I click on this, I do have the option to make this visible to students, or I can add release conditions. We'll look at release conditions a little later. They're essentially the adaptive release items from original. In Ultra, we call them release conditions. Okay? So I can make this visible to students, they can see it. But I can open this and review the link. And when I click on it, oh, that page isn't working. That was a fake link anyway, so maybe I have to change my office hours. But in Ultra here, I could add that to my schedule. Let me add times that this organization meets. And maybe what I want to call this is office hours. Although I was just at an institution last week, and what they shared is research has shown that when students see office hours, they do not realize those are for them. They just assume the instructor is doing office work in their office hours, and it's not their time. So they recommended that they call it student hours. And I can even add emojis here if I want to. Okay, there we go. And let's say my office hours are, what's today, the 19th? My office hours happen to be Wednesday. They repeat weekly for the next 12 weeks. Well, I don't know, how long is a semester? Let's say 16 weeks. And then I can type the location, maybe it's THX room 1138. That's where my office hours are, or maybe they're online and I can provide that link there for Zoom. But I can save that, and so I have my student hours there. Okay, so now Ultra has given me that ability there that will be integrated into the calendar. So on Wednesdays, they'll see that there is office hours. Yeah, at 1 p.m. So students will be able to see that there. So if I go back to content area, maybe this office hours thing isn't useful. So I can select the three-dot menu and I can just delete that. All right, let's delete that. It did say permanently delete, which is kind of scary, but if I want it back, I could just go to course content and find that original course and then find that course content, and there it is again. So I could just pull it back in if I want to. Okay. All right. Now my syllabus, that's important. I really want that at the top. So I'm just going to hit that little grabby thing, the hand, and I'm just going to move that content up to the top. I could place it anywhere I want, right? Now, In Ultra, instead of having content that kind of goes to the bottom of the course, uh, I have these little plus buttons here, which means that anywhere, even within a folder, that I click plus, I can add content exactly where I want it to. And then if I need to, I can just move it around like I did with the biology syllabus. So I know in another course, one of the best practices we recommend for online courses is to have a start here folder or a week zero folder, some folder that helps students orient themselves to the course. Maybe it combines the syllabus, it has an introduction to the instructor. So I have a course that has that information. Let me go back to that English composition course. I can look at the content and I have this nice start here module. So I'm just going to pull that in. Okay, and it's going to pull in exactly where I want it to at the top of my course. All right, so here's my module. You'll notice it has a thumbnail image. It's hidden from students and all the content in there. All right, well, I don't need that English syllabus anymore. Let me delete that. Okay, and now I can just move that biology syllabus, slowly scrolling up for some reason. There we go. I'm going to just move that where the syllabus was. Okay. We also have a nice syllabus attestation. This is one of my recommendations. You can have a little quiz that just asks students whether or not they've read the syllabus. All right. Okay. All right. It's still hidden from students. Okay. Now I can look at my process of science folder, see how everything moved over, look at my, uh, this looks interesting. This was an item in a course item in original, and there was just one sentence in it. All right. So maybe this whole document that has one sentence isn't really appropriate. Maybe I have to combine some of these documents so it has uh, the information I need. All right. But that's a process of just cleaning up that I can take. Right. So this is how things have come into the course, and I can collapse this unit one, and I can see where I want this discussion to go. Maybe the discussion really fits better within this first module. All right, so I'm going to put that there. Okay, now we do have on this content area now, we have a module from one course that I pulled in. This was from an ultra course, and I have this folder from the content from my original biology course. Now, what's the difference between folders and modules? Okay. Now, I really like modules, and we really encourage you to transform your folders into modules because they have a lot more interesting wayfinding and orientation capabilities. Okay. So here we go. Let's see what that looks like from the student. Oh, wait, let me let me show batch edit right now because all this content is hidden from students. And if I went into my student preview, I wouldn't be able to see anything because it's all hidden from students, right? So let me look at batch edit. Batch edit shows me all the content that's in my course that's student facing. And if I, you know, uh, open up the folder to see what's in it, I can see everything that was in those two folders. I can select all items from here and I can edit visibility and make sure everything's visible to students. And in one click, all the content in my course will become available. There's a little warning sign up here. Visibility cannot be modified for tests without questions. So if you create a test, there's no questions in the test, we're not going to show it to students because it's not ready. Now, everything in here is visible to students. There's a little lock here because there's some availability restrictions I've placed on that for the student, and I can review that in a moment. But I open here and everything, this little eyeball is open, so everything is now visible to students. Okay. I can also edit due dates from this screen as well. So if I select all, I can edit my dates. And so I can change everything to a specific date or time. So maybe I moved in one module and I know everything's due on Sunday, so I can just change it to that. But I could also change days based on number of days. So I could push things out 120 days or 180 days, based on like when was the last time this course was run, or I can change dates based on the course start. All right, so if my start date, if I know that, I can change put in the current course start date. This course, let's say it started Saturdays when folks had access to it. And I want the new start date to be, oops, sorry, current start date was some other time, and I can add it to be today as the night. I can move all dates 2 days. If the current start date for the course was, I ran this course last spring, so maybe it started, what was it, Monday? Here it was. This was MLK Day, so maybe it started then. I can edit the dates, and everything is pushed out accordingly. Okay, so I can edit those dates here. It'll show anything that has a due date. The new due date was moved to this date. That doesn't look right, so I could just click here and edit an individual date. So I actually want this due this week. So let me add the due date to be, let's have it due Sunday. And I want it due at 11:59 p.m. So it's due at the very end of Sunday and save. Okay, so and then I can go throughout the course and edit those dates accordingly if I need to, right? All right, so that's the batch edit features that you can add and even delete items all at once if you wanted to. It's a really handy feature to know. Okay, so let's look at the module menu here. Let's edit the module. What I have here is I have clicked on forced sequence. That means students have to go through it one by one. I have to add this. It's not automatically forced sequence. I have to opt into it. But I can edit the image here if I want to. Now, say I really like module capabilities. So I have this folder here. How do I make it to a module? If I click that three-dot menu, one of my best tips is click on that ellipsis. I can just change this to a learning module and continue. All right, now it's changed into a learning module. Maybe I want to do something, I wanted a folder, I can always change it back so I'm not going someplace I can't, recover from. Now when I hit the edit menu, here's force sequence. I don't want to do that for this module yet because I just want to show you its features. But here I can add an image. Okay. And whenever you add an image, that iconography is consistent throughout the Ultra interface. It's this little mountain with a sun, I guess, picture. And you have some options here. I can upload from a device. If I have an image already on my computer, I can use stock images from Unsplash. Or I could generate an AI image. Let's look at Unsplash because it's one of my favorite tools that are in Ultra. This is a library of royalty-free images that you can use in your course. And there's thousands and thousands of images. Right now, it populates with science and research because it pulled from some of the languages in the course, and um, it's looking at images that might fit that, and it's pulled 2,400 images. All right, so I have a wealth of images to look for, but maybe I want to be specific and I want to look for biology. Okay. Um, these are all biological pictures, I assume. So let's just go with maybe, no, maybe I don't want a cancer cell. All right, let's look for something that, oh, this is the process of science. This looks scientific. Let's hit next. And then I can adjust this. I can zoom in if I want to. Maybe I really don't want to emphasize the face, so I just want like the hand and the beaker image. So there I go. I can save that, and now I have a little module image there that gives a little bit more visual um, um, diversity for students to sort of see what's in the course and some wayfinding. Let's see what the student sees with the module. Okay, so this is my forced sequence where they have to go through content in order, and this is my module where they don't have to go through in order. So if I open up the folder, I see this is the first content, and I see little locks there that I can't go forward until I have to go through that content row by row. But if I click on my syllabus, I have this lovely table of contents that tells me where I'm in my module and what I have to do next. All right, and I have some navigation features built within the module. So here is my Introduction to Biology syllabus. If I click Next, now I go to my syllabus attestation quiz. I'm going to continue. I'm going to hit True. I acknowledge that I've reviewed the syllabus, and look at this. I get this little nice bar of how many questions remaining in the course, so students always have kind of an understanding of what's going on in their course. If this were a larger test, I could filter this and look at just unanswered questions. If I had essay questions, I could filter for essay questions, so I could answer all those first. So if I looked for unanswered questions and filtered, now just that second question is showing. So yes, I know how to reach out to my instructor if I have questions, and I can click Submit. Now, some of those features for filtering you can prevent based on your assignment settings, your test settings if you want. But let me go ahead and submit that test. Okay, now I can access where my textbook is. Right, so now I can click on this to go on the website. I can use, and I can go next here. It automatically checks off where I am. It shows me how many items within the folder I have completed. All right, so here's my student support information, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. If I open my module for Unit 1, when I click in there, I get the table of contents again, but I don't have a lock here. Now I can kind of swim around and access what I want to access when I want to access it. All right. So here's the process of science. Here's this online tool for scientific inquiry. Here is my discussion question that I want to look at here that came from original. All right. So now I can start participating in my discussion if I want. But let me scroll out of here and let me show you what progress tracking does. So let me exit here. I'm going to save my fake students progress. And now when I click on the three-dot menu, I could look at progress in the course and I can see my preview user that he started the module. Oops, apologies. I have a demo site that sometimes gets a little finicky. Okay, so now I can look at my preview user progress in the course. I can see what he's accessed in that module. I can see what he hasn't accessed yet. I can see he started this module. He hasn't checked this one off. He's looked at the discussion but hasn't submitted anything. So I can see where he's in my course and what he's done. I can even look at his activity log and I can see when he's accessed the course. And it takes about 15 minutes for the activity log to update, but I'd be able to access his attempt log for the test he took and see how long it took him to answer all the questions and when he submitted that test. Okay. All right, so that's the wonderful thing about student progress here. I can see that nobody's completed any of the modules, but one student has started. Uh, okay, I do have access to these analytics on the analytics tab as well. So if I click on that student preview user, I can see how many due dates he's missed, how many hours are in the course, days since last access. The due dates missed I have to update the dates there and batch edit so he's not missed anything because he just got enrolled in this course. I can see his overall grade if he had it here. And if I click on him, I could see kind of his grades. I could see his progress through the course again, and again, his activity log. Okay. All right, so we've briefly reviewed how to add content to your course from your original course and the steps to take there. I did want to show how to add that banner to the course. I don't have a banner for this course. Right now, I just have this nature image that doesn't persist. This is just the default image generated by Blackboard for you. But if I go into the course, in my Details and Actions menu, I can select on Course Image. Okay? And if I look at Course Image, I have this icon again to choose my course banner, and I can upload from my device or select images from Unsplash. Okay, so here are images. It has cell and life. That's what it kind of pulled over from biology. So this one looks interesting for biology, just visually. So let's click next. I'm not quite sure what this image represents as I'm not a biologist, but let's just say it's appropriate for a biology course. I have some features where I can kind of zoom in or out, so maybe I really want to focus on this one cell and center it within what the banner would look like. And now I'm going to hit save, and it's processing that image and it's put it there. I can, with the accessibility features, this is marked as decorative right away, but I could just, cells under a microscope. And I can select save. All right, and now I have this course banner here that persists on the outside as well. So I can kind of label my courses visually as I need to. Okay. All right. Let me show you some of the fun features. Oh, I didn't show announcements, and I really need to show some of the features you have in announcements. All right. So we clicked on announcements. This is what I pulled in from a draft. So you can see here, I recorded this earlier. This is, we have a guest speaker tomorrow. If I want to test play to see what this announcement is, because it came from another course, maybe it's not relevant to this course. Hey, everybody, here's my message. So here I have those captions, auto captions into my announcement. I could see those here as well. and download them if I need to. And this is the exact same view the student has. But let's say this image is out of date. It looks, 2024 or something like that. So let me just add a video real quick. Again, consistent iconography. You have your audio video settings right here. What do I want to record? I'd like to record just my voice this time. No, let's just go with camera so we can see the fun stuff here. So here I am. I'm in a room with some funny wallpaper. I'm going to start recording. It's going to give me a countdown. Hey, next week on Tuesday when the class starts, we have a guest speaker. I hope everyone can attend. I'll also record the session. It'll be on a Zoom link, so you can review it later if you're not able to attend in person. But I encourage you to come in person. All right, so it's ending the recording. It's going to upload that in a moment. And I can save the video when it's finished uploading. There it is, save video. Okay, now I can go ahead and post this video. I can send it as an email recipient, and I can even schedule the announcements. So if I have all the announcements for my course, I can schedule it out throughout the course. So I can kind of set it and forget it. But I'm going to select post. Now, I only have one person in my course, but I know he hasn't seen my announcement yet. And if he did, it'd be marked as read. So I can even see what students have seen my announcement and what hasn't. And I can send a message to the student, say, hey, you haven't opened the announcement, but we have a guest speaker. And I can actually send that message as an email as well. So I would see it would show as a message in my course as well as an email to the student. Okay. I know we're kind of getting close to the end of the session, so I wanted to pause for a moment. I don't know if we have any questions or if there's anything specifically you really want me to show before we wrap up. Let's see here. So I do see some questions. I don't know if they were answered during the session, but I want to make sure I'm not skipping anything that you really need to see before our time is done today.
There are a few questions. One is to talk about a total column in the grade book, and then another is around discussion posts. So maybe we can cover those two.
What's the question on discussion posts? I don't
It
see.
just says, what about discussion posts?
Okay. Would someone like to elaborate on discussion posts in terms of what that means and what they need to know?
They're curious how they work and how do students see them.
Okay. So you can see discussions two different ways in your content on your page. There is a discussion tab, and so discussions can be here. So these are all the discussions I've added to my course. Um, if I'm looking at the discussion itself as an instructor and I want to edit it, I can see this discussion isn't graded. I can also check on the settings. And I have post first, I have prevent editing if I want. I can allow anonymous responses and replies. I can also grade this. Um, and I can also determine whether or not I want this discussion to show on the content page or just stay here in the discussion tab. Some discussions, may happen across content or modules, so you may want to have them here, but you can also have those discussions nested within the content itself, so they know that after they do these things, it's somewhat intuitive that they go to their discussion next. What do discussions look like from a student perspective? Let me go to a course where I think I've have some discussions happening. Let me see here. Okay, so I'm in my grade book, right? I'm sorry, I'm in a course where I've had some student activity. I can see right away that there's some little purple indicators that tell me there's some activity to do. So I see there's a discussion that's been answered to, but let me go to my grade book because I just want to show something real quick. There are 4 tabs in the grade book. The grade book will put you back where you left. So the last time I was in this course, I was on this grades tab, and this is that classic grid view of your grade, right? But maybe I want to go to overview. Overview will tell me what I have to do and what I should do first if I want to. So you can see I have 2 things that needs grading. That reflects the 2 up here, and I have a survey to look at and a discussion. I also have a discussion that I looked at and that I haven't posted yet. Okay, so I have one more discussion to grade. So let me go ahead and click on that, and I'm right in the grading workflow. So let me see. Richard Watts has submitted something. So let me go to Richard. Okay, so here is what he said. I'm really into music, blah, 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 blah. So I could reply as the instructor. I can see that he has one substantive post, but no replies. And I have a rubric I've attached to this. So I can see what that rubric is, and I can see and I can grade him on that rubric. So I'm going to say that he hasn't met the standards because he hasn't replied. All right, so um, and I haven't finished grading the other things yet. Let's see. Oh, I have to adjust this rubric because I bumped this up to 10. But anyway, this is what you can see as the instructor for rubrics and how, and for discussions and how they work. From a student perspective, let me close this. Let me close out of my discussions. I can participate as a student in my student preview. So let me, oh, I have, this is a course where I have release conditions set. So I can't access this content until as a student, until I get 2 points on my syllabus attestation to access this content. So that's here, right? So I can go in here, I can review this, and I can access this content. I can start my attempt. I can true, submit late, submit. There I go. I can close that. And now I can access this next module here because I've unlocked that condition, all right? But here's my discussion. No, it's my discussions in module 1. Here's unit 1 of module 1. So here I can discuss. So here's how discussions work from the student perspective. You introduce the topic, and now the students can post here to that initial, respond to that initial post, or they can reply to any of the other students in their course, okay? And I could see those new replies to the student and see all that conversation, interact with my students. I interact with my colleagues in my class. Does that cover what you wanted to know about discussions? I hope. Um,
I think that was great.
okay, let me look at the grade book. I have to exit my student. Discard student preview. Okay, so now I'm back in my course as an instructor. I can create a total item from my gradable items list view. This list view is important because as you shrink the course, oh, I have to minimize this. There we go. As we're looking at our screens, a grid view is not accessible to different sized screens, okay? But the gradable items list is. So you'll notice that grades grid view does not disappears as you get smaller, right? So you have both lists available. You can just click the plus item and add a total column. You can add a total calculation here, but Ultra comes with an overall grade that you get to set up, and you can set it up in your grid view or you can set it up in your gradable items view. So the overall grade is a total grade column, and I can access it by accessing the calculation details here. And this is my overall grade for the course. It's my total grade. All right. I can also access that total grade in the cogwheel in the settings area. So if I select the settings for the grade book, it will, if I scroll down, I could manage my overall grade settings. So overall grade is the total grade, right? Now I have this set weighted already. So usually when you get into your course, you will have all of these items unlocked. They won't be grayed out, right? And everything will be unlocked here. Okay. So what you want to do, if you want to use weight, if you're using points, it doesn't really matter because your points are your points, right? So here's my points. My course has a total of 560 points. But if I wanted this to be weighted, you would select that weighted area, right? And now it's automatically rebalanced across all categories to equal 100. But this course doesn't work that way. First of all, I have 0 quizzes. All right. So I want to hit this exclusion button here. And if I hit this exclusion button, it'll gray out quizzes, set it to 0, and then automatically rebalance so it adds to 100. Now I'm going to go from the bottom up because I have 0 items here. These items are these categories that I can set my assignments to based on some initial settings you have available to you in Blackboard, or you may have created. This is a created item area, a category that I created for interviews, but I don't have it in this course. So I can keep closing this out. You'll see it's automatically rebalancing. This form in this course that I put in, I'm not grading it. So even though there is an item there, I don't want to grade that. So I'm going to exclude that and it's going to put it to 0. Okay. So now these are the remaining items of my course. I have a final portfolio assignment that was an assignment. I was playing in this course earlier for a demo last week, so I apologize. I'm going to click this button. So this is where you'd see your course originally. All right. So my assignments are now, and discussions and tests, they're all balanced to be this amount. But maybe that's not how I want this to work. This is an English composition course, so I really want the assignments to be the most important. So I'm going to start those first. I am going to take my final submission because this will be the highest grade in the course, and I'm going to unlink it from the category. So I'm going to put this category outside the assignment category so I can give this the highest score. So this is going to be 15% of the grade. Okay, just that one submission. Now I'm going to lock it. If I lock it, it won't rebalance this 15%, but it'll rebalance anything that's left over. Okay, the remaining assignments are all important. So from 15%, let's say I'm going to make this an additional 40% of the course. Okay, so I'm going to lock that right there. So there I have 55% of my grade is the assignments and the final submission. All right. Discussions are important in this course. I really want them to interact, and they're reviewing papers in this course. I can see all those discussions here. Right now, they're only worth 2.3% each, and there's 10 items. So that doesn't sound right for me. I'm going to make this 30% of the course. Okay. And then I'm going to lock it here. So now I have a remaining, all right. Now I have a remaining 15% for tests. These tests are, there's a plagiarism quiz. They're not really super important. So I like how that's balanced to 15. So I'm going to go ahead and lock that. And now it comes to 100%. I have that all set. I can determine whether or not I want to show this as a percentage or a letter grade. I want to show it as a letter grade. And I can calculate grades based on points earned out of total graded points. This means it's the running total, right? So if I have this unclicked and they get 100% of their points, if they do one discussion in their first class, they've earned 3.16% of their grade if they get 100. If they get 100 on that, if I give them full credit, their grade will show as 3.16%. All right. If I click this and grades are earned out of total graded points, then they'll have completed 3.16% of their grade, but they will have 100%. They'll have a because they've earned all the points available to them so far. Okay. Another neat item we have integrated into Ultra is if you go to your gradebook settings, you have the option to make things automatic zeros. So anything that's past the due date, students are automatically assigned 0 credit for it. So that running total accurately reflects what their grade actually is. Because if they're missing content that they haven't submitted yet, you haven't had a chance to grade it because it's not there, it'll show that their grade as accurate. Now, if they've submitted something and it's past the due date and you haven't graded it yet, it'll just show that their item is ungraded. But automatic zeros give students a more accurate reflection of where they are in their course. So if they complete their first initial quiz and they got 100% on their quiz, their grade shows as an A because it shows as a running total. But then they're thinking they still have 100%, even though they haven't submitted anything because you haven't manually assigned them zeros. The automatic zeros gives them that as well. You can also determine your student performance flags in Ultra. So here I have it set to any grade below 70. I get a notification that a student's grade is dropped into the D area, right? Or if they've missed more than 2 due dates or haven't accessed my course for more than 15 days, Maybe I want to make that a little closer. So after 5 days, I get a flag that students haven't accessed their content. And I can even set that they get a notification if they haven't met these settings for me as well. Okay. So that's how you create your total column in Ultra. It's your overall grade. I have seen that when you copy over your entire course from original and you have a total grade, when you go into your overall grade here and edit it, you'll see like a total calculation column here. Um, and that may be messing with how you want your grades to show. I would recommend just deleting that extraneous total column and using the overall grade if you want that grade to show to your students. If you want to add a total column that shows a different total, for example, you want to show the total midterm grade for the first half of the course, you can add a total calculation. And then here you can weight the calculation. And this is again what your course looks like when you open it up for the first time. You would close out all those items that they're not being graded on. And then you would open up the items. And I'm not sure where in this course the midterm would be for the content. Um, but you would just keep the content that's part of their midterm grade and make sure it's weighted accordingly. So I think these are the last assignments that wouldn't be part of their midterm, and their discussions are, I think here's where the midterm cuts off. All right, so then I could just title this their midterm grade. I could have this for my own edification to track my class, or I could make it visible to students. All right, so I could add a total column that way to show all sorts of different things. I could show what their quiz grade is. I could exclude everything but their discussion, so I could show their discussion grade, what their assignment grade is, what their test grades are. I can have columns, created quickly that just show those categories. Um, or I could, set midterm grade, stuff like that. So they have steps in their grade book that show what's there uh, uh, before they go so they can see how it all contributes to their final grade. Okay. And with the categories, if you ever need to edit categories, this is a really cool feature again, it's in the settings area in your gradebook. This cog is available no matter what tab you're on in the gradebook. If you go to manage your gradebook items, you can change the category of your items. So maybe this syllabus attestation, what is it set to? It's set to a test. Maybe I want to set that to a quiz, and I can set the category here. And I can do it in bulk too. So if all of my quote unquote tests in this course, I really want to show them as quizzes because I like the term quizzes as opposed to tests, let me undo this. I can search test items. Let me see. I could just click all the test items here. I won't go through the whole thing, but I can edit the category and make these all quizzes in bulk. Okay, so that's a real handy tool as you're bringing over content from original. If you want to change those settings or those categories for your assignments, you can do it easily by managing your items in the gradebook. Okay.
Great. Thank you so much, Mike, for the overview of how to convert courses, in-depth overview of the gradebook as well. We got a comment in the chat that that was exactly what they were looking for, so it's much appreciated. Um, I did want to highlight to everyone that obviously we cannot cover everything today. We are already over time, but we did put in the chat a link to a variety of other resources that both the Anthology team and the WVU ITS team have available for you. So highly recommend checking all of those out as you continue on your journey of modernizing your course to Ultra. Any final words, Mike, that you want to share with the group before we wrap up?
Oh, thank you for your extra time. If you're staying in, I apologize for going over. But we're really excited that West Virginia University is moving to Ultra. And let us know if there's any bumps in your journey. Sometimes it's just a click away or a help conversation to get you where you need to be. But
Yeah, no, we appreciate the extra time. I didn't want to stop you because it was amazing information. So thank you, Mike, and thank you to the WVU team. And yeah, we're excited to see how everything goes. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
thank you,
Thank you so
everybody.
much.
Bye all.